Hey there, fellow tinkerers. Let's make a new custom spinner using that awesome tube again. Showing off this new one, I want you to fit view to selection when you drag it out there. And let's make our radius 13.5. That gives us a diameter of 27. Make sure after you type it, you press enter. And then check out this math. If you have got a 27 diameter cylinder, and you take away the perfect bearing size, which I found to be 22.3, you get 4.7. If you divide that by 2, because there are 2 thicknesses of walls here, you get 2.35. So change this to 2.35, and now you've got the perfect size hole for a bearing. I like to make that 60. The bevel is where it gets really cool. You could leave it straight, or you could do crazy things, and this is where you can customize yours over mine. I'm going to do a bevel of 3, and I'm going to do a bevel segments of 5, so I get a nice rounded shape. I'm going to see what it looks like if I do 8. So that's even more smooth, and I'm going to try a bevel of 5. And this is where you can experiment and see how you can make yours even more cool than mine. The last piece, and this is most important, is you got to change that to 7. Don't forget to press enter as you build these, because if you don't press enter, it doesn't really happen. So right there, you've got a perfect size hole for your spinner. And now you just, I'm going to line mine up with a center dot on my grid by just switching it to 0.1 and dragging it where I want. So I just like it that way so it looks more oriented the way I need. For this spinner, I want to make a quad spinner. So I'm going to click on my first piece and do Control D. I'm going to switch to moving 5 millimeters at a time, because that's pretty nice for just nudging it out. I'm going to do Control D on that and move it back to the other side. Notice there are nice connections between these. And then watch this trick. I'm going to hold down Shift. I'm clicking the first one. I'm holding Shift and clicking the second one. I'm doing Control D, and then I'm rotating that 90 degrees. And boom, I have got a wicked cool quad spinner in no time at all. But I'm going to add one last amazing touch to make this mine and totally mine. I'm going to go back to the Tinkercad shapes. I'm going to bring out a chunk of text, and I'm going to change it to have my initials, MH. I'm going to pick Serif, because I like those little danglers. And then I've got to stand it up on its end. So I'm just going to rotate it, and I'm using the little clicks to get it 90 degrees. I'm going to make it super small. Remember, our whole project is only 7 high, so I'm going to make this 5 millimeters high. I'm going to look at it backwards just because it really doesn't matter for what I'm doing. I'm going to shrink it down so it's about X millimeters thick, I don't know. And then I'm going to make it thinner this way. And I'm actually going to type that number. I want it to sink in. Right now it's 5. I want it to sink in 3 millimeters, because I'm going to stick it in the side of one of my shapes. Right now it's going to fit on that side. So I'm going to just move it over here. And now when I spin the world around to take a look at it, you can see my MH is going to look pretty nifty. I've just got to place it in my design. And maybe you're figuring out now, I'm going to use the arrow keys. Got to change this back to 1 millimeter so I can line it up the way I want. I'm going to turn it into a hole, and I'm going to cut my initials out of my fidget spinner. I do need to make sure I keep my structure sound. So I'm going to raise it up 1 millimeter, and I don't want it poking out the back. Let's switch to the top view quick. You can see how that's cutting out totally, which would be not cool. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to nudge it this way with my arrow keys so I can see that the MH is cut in, which that's going to be pretty sweet. And I want to make sure it's not poking out. So I'm going to grab it from this side. Boom. By making it a 2mm indent, I can now select the whole thing, and I can group it. So my spinner is forever going to be my spinner. You could, of course, do that on every side. You just have to make sure you have it oriented, and you will have a custom, classy spinner. Make sure you also name your file, because later they're nice to find, and I put my initials on it. Hope you have fun. See if you can come up with other cool ways to use it, and keep tinkering. Swiftly.